Hi everyone, Jewel here with the J7409 Tropical Update. Thank you so much for checking out the tropics with me and everybody here at J7409 Weather. If you haven't subscribed, please do so and click that bell to make sure you get all the latest updates. A lot of stuff is going on, folks. It's looking like Dorian may go to Florida by the weekend. Now, what the strength will be, who knows? And it may not be a lot, or it may be hurricane strength. I'm going to show you all that coming up. But first, this morning, from the National Hurricane Center, an elongated area of low pressure. This is disturbance number 198L. It's centered about 280 miles south-southeast of Cape Hatteras, North Carolina. And it has become a little better organized this morning. Environmental conditions appear conducive for gradual development, and a tropical or subtropical cyclone is likely to form today or tomorrow while it moves slowly northeastward well offshore of the southeastern United States. Yay! Now, interest along the coast of South and North Carolina should continue to monitor the progress of this system, and an Air Force Reserve Hurricane Hunter aircraft is scheduled to investigate the system today if necessary. It's got an 80% chance, 2 days, 5 days of forming. All along for the last 8 or 9 days, I've been telling you folks this is going to probably form somewhere right off of my coast. Now, Dorian. We got so much to talk about. I'll make this video as short as possible, but I do suggest that everyone watch it all the way through. Now, right now, it's got winds of 60 miles per hour. The pressure has fell 1 degree since last night. The minimum central pressure now is 1,002 millibars, and if you're tracking, 20.0 north, 57.0 west, and it's moving at 14 miles per hour. Now, here's the tracking model from the National Hurricane Center. It hasn't been updated since, like, way early hour mornings. It will be updated again coming up a little around lunch or maybe later this evening. That's why I like to wait and get the latest information. But it's looking like right now, no matter what, everybody down on the islands, you're going to get it, okay? Looking like tropical storm strength right now, according to this categorical outlook. We have the tropical storm watches, I should say, for all of the islands. They're a little more going towards Puerto Rico now and down in this area. I'll show you more, but the tropical storm warnings still in Barbados and for the lower chain of the islands here. Now, hurricane, when it gets up around Puerto Rico and Hispaniola, the Dominican Republic, up in this area, and then they have it diminishing down to a depression. Okay, I'm going to give you my gist on this. I have checked everything instead of showing you all this stuff. We're going to have to wait and see about the shear wind, but this is what I'm thinking. Okay, it may become a depression here, no doubt, and it may still be a depression here, no doubt, but when it gets to the upper islands of the Bahama area, there is no shear wind, okay? That's what it's looking like now. However, this is not wrote in stone and it can change, but I'm telling you, 72 hours out from now, there's nothing here. Doesn't look like there's going to be a whole lot, and it's going to come right on up in this area. So, I'll show you some things in a moment. Now, foremost and most important, what is going to happen to my friends down on the islands? Here it is right here. You can see it goes all the way up here into Barbuda almost. It's right here. It's just west of Barbuda. These are tropical storm watches. We're also down here in Dominica, tropical storm watches. Goes down to Martinique. Then we come up into our tropical storm warnings down in the Castries and St. Lucia. For everybody there, I'm thinking of you, going all the way down, not quite to St. George, but almost. Then it turns into a tropical storm watch. Barbados and Bridgetown, you're under this tropical storm warning. It is going to happen, and I've got this set for at least, for you guys, what's the chance of you getting at least, I'll show you right quick here. Hold on. Let me get back up here and get it all straightened out. I'm going to put this map down just a little bit so you can see. I've got it set on at least 50 knot winds. You guys here are going to get it, okay? Where you see the darker areas, the wind, you're going to get it. Everybody in these areas, you are going to get some wind. Not hurricane strength, but you're going to have some gusts that are going to be really steep. So keep that in mind. When we come up to 64 knot winds, doesn't look like you're going to get any. But as the storm moves on past, it is going to pick up, as you can see. Right in here as it's coming in, looking like maybe around Hispaniola, Dominican Republic, up along La Rama. Probably midweek. Puerto Rico, just the edge here, going to get a little bit. It will be a hurricane when it goes across the Dominican Republic over in this area. Now for watches and warnings, tropical storm warning in effect for Barbados, St. Lucia, St. Vincent, and the Grenadines. Tropical storm watch in effect for Dominica, Martinique, Grenada, and its dependencies. Saba, and also for, as you can see right in here, we've got it up now for St. Eustatius. The warning means tropical storm conditions are expected somewhere within the warning area within 36 hours, and the watch, it gives you a little longer time to prepare, of 48 hours. Now, interest in Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands, and Hispaniola should monitor the progress of Dorian, as these watches could be required as early as later today. And everybody, please stay tuned to your local TV stations, your radio stations, NOAA weather stations, to keep up on the latest information in these areas if you can, okay? So this is what's going on right now for you guys down on the islands. Key factors that everybody needs to pay attention to on the islands. Dorian is expected to bring tropical storm conditions to the portions of the Lesser Antilles where tropical storm watches and warnings are in effect, as you've seen. Residents in these areas, you should refer to advice, just like I told you, from your local government officials and your local meteorologist. Now, Dorian is expected to bring you guys rain, 2 to 4 inches of rain in Barbados, the Windward Islands, and Dominica, with isolated amounts as high as 6 inches. This is going to cause some flash flooding. Now, while it's too soon to determine the specific time or magnitude of possible direct impacts in Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands or Hispaniola, interest in those areas should monitor the progress of Dorian, and watches could be required later today. And I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys, over in Hispaniola and the Dominican Republic area where I just showed you, it's going to be a hurricane. How strong, we'll have to wait and see. But it should ramp up to the hurricane stage right before it gets to you. Okay, this is a shear wind right quick. As you can see, this is set for 32 hours out now. And there's shear wind all around and dry air, as I explained in last night's video. But it begins the shear wind to come down quite a degree here once it gets out in here. Now, once it gets over, we will run this up some. We can only go out for 72 hours, but let's do this, and we can watch the system as we click on through, and I'll tell you why I'm saying what I'm saying. Now you can see it's got some shear wind around it. It is dying down some, but it strengthens back up, because you can see that it gets some of the whiter into it, okay? Here's the Dominican Republic. You can barely see it. And this is at 72 hours. And this is such a small storm. These isobars are getting tightly compact around it, okay? So this is what it's looking like here. But as you can see, once it gets to the upper islands in the Bahamas and gets in no shear wind, and as it moves along, no shear wind, none, zilch, maybe 4 or 6 mile per hour winds, which is nothing. It's out in the open Atlantic where the water is very warm. I think it does have a chance to build back up. I'm not saying you're going to have a blowout hurricane. Don't go saying, well, J7409 said this and that. I'm just going to show you what it's looking like. But I would highly suggest everyone along the Florida coast and the Georgia coast, please prepare. You should already have your hurricane kits and plans ready. I am thinking midweek for the Dominican Republic area, but this is the European model. Now, the National Hurricane Center, the European model and the GFS model is kind of in agreement right now. The National Hurricane Center is going to tell you that these two dynamical models are in agreement for intensification, okay? Then they're saying also that like the HWRF and a couple of the LGIM models say maybe it won't intensify. That's still up in the air. That's going to take further down the road this week to the latter part of the work week before we know definitely what's going to happen up here. I can guarantee this area. I can guarantee this area. You guys need to be ready. I'm going to turn this on. This is the European model, and just let it run through. Now, this is time consuming, but you guys need to watch, especially along the Florida and Georgia coastline. Now, this, of course, is 98L, okay? It's going to go on out to sea, and it's not going to bother anybody at all. This rain coming through was from the system that formed this weekend, and that's going to be going over. Your timestamp right now is down at the bottom, and here we have Dorian. Doesn't look like a whole lot, right? Doesn't look like a whole lot, but just wait. It begins to blow up when it gets close to the islands. When it gets close to the islands, look at there, now we got the center of rotation. So I want to stop this just a moment, and I want to push this up and blow it up so you can see exactly which islands it is going over. This is just according to the European model. Remember the cone over at the National Hurricane Center? It can go either way. This is just what the European model is showing at this time. As we come back just a step, here we go right in here. You can see the center is right over in this area. So be aware and stay safe. Now this is just rain. You guys from Barbados over to the islands, 2 to 4 inches of rain, possibly 6 inches of rain in places. I can't stress that enough, especially where it looks white. Be careful, you could have some flash flooding. The sustained winds aren't looking too bad at this time. Your wind gusts have picked up tremendously. You can see right here, 41 mile per hour wind gust, but it will strengthen probably a little more. So everybody, please be aware of what's going on down here. Please, please, please. Now I'm going to move this back down here just a tad, and we'll turn it back on. Important stuff is coming up, my friends. Please stick around and see what is happening. Let's put it back on the rain. Here we go. You can see the timestamp. You guys are going to probably get this late tonight or in the wee early morning hours tomorrow down in this area. So we're going to follow this. Looks like it does kind of rag out and tear apart some once it crosses the islands. No big deal. But it does try to get that center of circulation and vorticity back right around as it gets up around south a little of Puerto Rico. Now this is just rain, okay? You can see still looking ragged, not a whole lot of stuff happening. It's getting closer now, moving over to Santo Domingo. More of this is happening here. We see more rain. It goes over that land Let's check the wind out. Now this is just according to the European model. Sustained winds don't look that bad, but you can tell it's still trying to form. Still trying to form some. Now the National Hurricane Center has it making up to a hurricane, so that's what we're going to go by. But I do want to show you what happens. Now, we've got to go back to the rain and the thunder, and I want to go ahead and move down. Go ahead and move down some so we can see the Bahamas and a little of Florida. And you can see this is Thursday morning, this Thursday morning, the 29th, around lunchtime. So here's the system. Here's Dorian. Looking real ragged, not doing a lot. It's coming across. Yes, it is just a depression system at this time, just like it's showing on the map from the National Hurricane Center. But watch what happens. It's going across the Bahamas, and boom, it's getting in that dry air. And when it gets up here, it's going to get where there's no wind shear. Watch how, look, you can see this, it's beginning to form, how it's beginning to take off right up in this area. There we go. Boom. This is Saturday, wee hours of Saturday morning. And once again, this is the European model, and this thing just keeps getting stronger and stronger and stronger. Look at this. Do you see this right here, what I'm talking about? Look at all the rain that it's gathered in it now. Now it's getting up in this area. I need to stop it just for a moment and bring this down. And I want to make this much bigger so everyone will have a very good view of what to expect, and if you're in these areas, if this European model plays out correctly. And it usually does. You know what I'm saying, okay? Alright, here we go. That's a little bit too big. Let me get it down just a hair smaller. Here we go, right in this area here. What about wind at this time? Well, you can see it's got this little core, this corridor. This is sustained winds, not wind gust. 42 miles per hour. That's tropical storm winds, okay? What about wind gust? Well, here we go. 67 mile per hour wind gust. We've already seen the rain. We've already seen everything. Now this is Sunday around 12 midnight, as you can see right here, okay? So we're going to turn this back on right quick. I know this is drawn out, but you guys really need to see this. Looking like Port St. Lucie. My goodness gracious, sometime Sunday afternoon. We won't go back to the exact time, but this is the rain. Look at all the rain, and this rain's going to come around Port St. Lucie also. 2.5 inches of rain in 3 hours, and you can see how it's spreading along. I will try to make this a little bigger for little places in Florida, like Palm Bay. There's Cocoa, St. Cloud, Vero Beach, lots and lots of rain going on. And also at this point, the sustained winds, we need to move down just a hair so you can see everything. The sustained winds, for the most part, is going to be around Cocoa coming on inland here. Or offshore waters, 48 mile per hour. That's tropical storm, wind gust, all up and down from Vero Beach all the way to Cocoa. Looking like Category 1 hurricane winds at 86 miles per hour. So, wow, how about that? Now, what we're going to do is I'm just going to leave it on the rain for a little bit, because this thing, and bring the map down, it's going to go right on up the coast. Okay? So I'm going to come down some now. And you can tell the entire state's going to get rain, 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 except for the Panhandle. Panhandle's not going to get that much rain. But I want to bring this down as low as I can, because it should come on up this way. Let's just turn it on, and I'll let it roll, and you can see for yourself. It moves inland, close to Orlando. and then up. You guys know if you live in these areas without me stopping and blowing it up so much. When it gets a little closer to it, I will. Moves up to Jacksonville. This is the rain. Look at this. Would you look at this? Now it's over in Georgia. Over in Georgia. So we do need to check the wind at this time. Now, this is sustained winds. It's going to be hitting the coastlines, okay? The coastline sustained winds are 45 miles per hour. What about wind gust? Well, the wind gusts that are going to be coming in are 70 miles per hour. That's not hurricane strength, but almost. So as it moves across the Palm Coast and down in Orlando and Jacksonville, it's going to weaken with the wind gust just a tad, but it's still looking like it's holding together for rain pretty good. This is around Brunswick, 2.3 inches of rain in 3 hours. So, and this is on Tuesday for you guys up in this area. Moving right along now. We're going to hurry up, get this out, but I did want to show you. Moving off right along the coastline, and then by Tuesday afternoon around 5 or 6, it should push off the coast of Georgia, move on up, and then move on out and not be a threat to anyone at this particular time. And that's a check of the tropical update for you on Dorian 98L, the tropical outlook. Everybody on the islands, please be safe. I love you all, and keep me informed and updated. For everyone on the islands, also Puerto Rico, also in the Dominican Republic, keep me updated if you can. If you have any pictures, you know the deal. Click show more, scroll down, you'll see an email address to send them to. Let me know what's happening, and let me know how you are. I love all of you. Thanks for everything you do. Peace, love, and kindness to all. Thanks so much for watching.